Hello and welcome back to my spooky little corner of the internet. My name is Chelsea and today we will be talking about FireStarter 2022. I don't know why I had the need to start like that, but here we are, having coffee. First time in 2 months. It's delicious. Let's get into this video. So, FireStarter. Leading into the new one, the remake, I had not seen the original FireStarter. I haven't seen a lot of movies from like 70s, 80s, 90s. I spent a lot of my time in the 2000s, early 2000s, late 2000s. I love movies from the 2000s. So I haven't seen the original. The remake has Zac Efron. I freaking love Zac Efron. I feel like he gets a lot of hate because it was like High School Musical was really popular, and so anytime anyone makes it big off of like a movie that like everybody hates, even though High School Musical actually is a good movie and also was super big, mainly with kids, like it's a Disney Channel thing, calm down, you don't have to like it. He's actually a really good actor outside of that. Like, he's hot, but also he's a good actor. Like, I love Charlie St. Cloud, 17 Again, Neighbors is pretty good. Neighbors isn't the best comedy, but it's pretty good. Dirty Grandpa. There are so many like good movies he's part of, whether it's like funny or even like emotional. Like Charlie St. Cloud is like my go-to sad cry movie. It's so good and kind of fucked. I love it. So I had actually high hopes. Okay, I had high hopes, but then it came out like, I don't know, a week ago. A little over a week ago, and I saw lots of bad reviews. I saw some good reviews, hence why on my Twitter thing that I made when I said I was watching FireStarter, I said mixed reviews. I had seen more bad than good, but I had seen good too. So I was like, people love to hate on remakes, so I'm gonna give it a chance. And it's streaming right now on Peacock, the paid version. It's like $5 or $6, way cheaper than going to theater if you want to watch it. And so I was like, okay, I'll get Peacock and watch it. I watched it and I was thoroughly let down. A little girl that literally can make things catch on fire and like basically explode with her mind is very much like up my alley. That is very like X-Men, Marvel, very comic booky, like action-y, like would be a good ass movie. It has Zac Efron, like it has all these cool things you think would happen in it, but when I watch it, it's just like, I feel like there's no real climax. Like, there's a couple of really cool scenes where this little girl, this is should this be spoilers? I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but there's a couple of really cool scenes where the girl like obviously uses her powers and, you know, fries people or whatever, and it's pretty cool. But I then watched the original yesterday, and though it's not my favorite movie, because I know, hate me, everyone hates this, everyone loves 80s horror movies. There's a few that I do very much love and like really like, and I definitely still give them a chance. But I was born late 90s. I grew up with 2000s movies. Some of the 80s stuff is just too kind of old school for me. Sorry about it, throw tomatoes, I get it. So like, it's not my favorite movie, I wouldn't watch it again, but comparing the OG 84 version to the 2022 remake, the 84 version is much better. It starts out way more action-y and involved, and you just get a better idea of what's even going on. Like 2022 version, I understood what was happening, but I was still a little confused, and just the way things happened just made no sense to me. I was very, like, every time, like every corner, I'm like, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you do this? Which I guess every horror movie is like that, where you're just like, oh my gosh, get up and run, or fight, or hide, or whatever. You tell them what to do and they never listen to you. But I'm like, these people are like extraordinary, like they have these abilities, and I don't think they were using them properly. And I would say the remake is not like a scene by scene remake, which I honestly don't care if it is or not. Like, some people are like, if you're gonna make a remake, then like follow the source material, and if you're gonna make a remake, make a whole new movie with like the same ideas. I honestly don't care what you do with it. I just want it to be enjoyable and to be good, because sometimes I'll just watch the remake and not even watch the old one because, again, I like stuff from the 2000s, but this one, it was so bad, and lots of people were like, watch the original, and I really like the concept of this girl having these powers and being able to catch people on fire with her mind. Like, again, very X-Men to me, and I freaking love that shit. And I was just, the remake just really let me down. Like I said, the original was way cooler. There was way more just badass scenes, and the storyline made more sense. A lot of people said the book's even better. I don't read that much. I'm not gonna read this book. Sorry about it. Like, this is super off topic, but I was looking at maybe getting like another like subscription box or something to unbox. I freaking love unboxing stuff, but I don't want to like waste money or just like buy shit for no reason. And I really wanted to get Creepy Crate, but every single one of them come with a book, which is a really cool idea. But like, I don't read that much at all, so I'd rather it come with a movie. And I know there's a crate out there that has like, it sends you like 3 movies or something every like month, but I want like a movie, a t-shirt, and like something cool. Like, that's what I want. Should I make my own creepy, or my own like crate or subscription box and send it out? Maybe. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, the 2022 remake, it doesn't follow it scene by scene, but does have somewhat of the same like storyline if you've seen the original, but it just takes the storyline and does it in a way worse. It literally just takes it and just makes it worse. It's just Zac Efron's in it. And I do like the girl. Let me see what her name is real quick, because you know I don't remember. Ryan Kira is the little girl's name in the new one, and she did such a good job. Like, she definitely is going to be in like more movies and stuff, because this did not have, I personally don't think this has like any kind of thing to do with her. It's all like, her and Zac Efron both did a good job. Like, I think all the acting was really good in the movie. It was just the movie itself was so slow and boring, and it was only like 20 or 30 minutes in, and I was playing on my phone. I was playing Wordle, and I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna finish it because I want to talk about it, but it's not looking good. I mean, there's like maybe literally 2 scenes I can think of that were like promising, and it was both scenes where like the girl used her powers, because like, that's cool, but the rest of it was just like stupid in my opinion. Sorry about it. Even the ending was just like, okay. I mean, it just really didn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's my 2 cents. But talking about the original now, so with that one, basically, actors were great. People hate on Zac Efron too much. Give him a chance. I really like him. Not that everyone needs to like him, because I do, but just saying. That little girl is definitely gonna be in more movies, because she is an up-and-coming star. Which is funny talking about the little girl, because in the 84 version, we had Drew Barrymore. She did an amazing job. I don't know why, but I honestly haven't seen Drew Barrymore in like a ton of movies. And maybe if I pulled her up, I would have seen, let me see, I'm gonna pull up movies she's been in, because she's very much like been in a lot of 2000s type stuff, and she's probably been in more movies than I can think of. And maybe it's because I'm not a huge, like, I like comedy movies, but they're not my favorite, and she does a lot of comedy for the most part, I feel like. Or maybe more just like random movies. I don't want to say I'm not a fan. Like 50 First Dates, that's the one thing I can think of her being in. She was in Scream. Santa Clara Diet, I watched that for a little bit. It's a show, it's a horror show. It's like a horror comedy show. I watched it for a little bit. I kind of liked it. I don't know. She's just not my favorite actress. After I just said don't shit on Zac Efron, there was like, really? But Drew Barrymore, I don't know why she's just not my favorite. But she does a lot of stuff with Adam Sandler. And she does good with him. I guess she is in a lot of movies. She's in Batman Returns, Donnie Darko. She's just Whip It. Whip It's actually a pretty cool movie. She's just not my favorite. For literally no reason. I don't know. I don't know what it is about her. She's not my favorite person. But she did such a good job in that movie. Even though her character annoyed me, but pretty much any kid character drives me nuts, because, I mean, they kind of play on the fact that they're innocent, very trusting, and so they always make like the dumb decision because they're literally a child, and it drives me nuts. I hate when adults make dumb decisions, let alone children, and I feel like they're always like screaming and crying when something's going on, which I understand, I'm actually the same, but it drives me nuts. But she did a really good job in the 84 version. And also, something else I want to point out, let me pull this up. Does it drive you nuts when I'm talking to you but looking at my phone? Do you feel like I am not hearing you? Do you feel like I just don't care because I care a lot. Okay, let me find this. So I saw someone in the 84 version, the original, whatever, and I saw him and I was like, who is that? Like the voice, the face, I was just like running in my mind like, who is this guy? And then I was like, oh, it looks like Charlie Sheen but older. And then it like, and all this was like running through my mind, like he looks and sounds like Charlie Sheen. Like this couldn't be him in the 80s, like that couldn't have been him. And so I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, I know his dad's famous, but like I've never like looked up like who exactly his dad is, or even if I have, like I just don't remember. And so I looked him up and it's Martin Sheen, and I was like, oh, he's the guy from Grace and Frankie. I swear to God, I bring the show up all the time. It's a comedy about older people. It's freaking hilarious. I love this movie. I'm not like a sitcom or comedy person for the most part. I mean, I like comedy movies and stuff, but I'm not like a sitcom person for the most part. This is like when I want to unwind outside of horror and stuff, or maybe if I watch something that's like really dark at night, not dark like, but dark like, I don't know, you know what I mean, like just a dark movie, a heavy movie, a really like just depressing kind of movie. I'm like, well, let me watch an episode of this before I go to bed so I'm not having like actual nightmares or some weird dream that like keeps me up. And so I'll turn on some Grace and Frankie, and I freaking love it. It has Martin Sheen in it, and he is amazing in this freaking show and in this movie. He does so good in the movie too, but it was so funny. I'm like, is this Charlie Sheen? And then I'm like, wait, his dad's famous too. And I look it up and I'm like, I know this guy. Again, I freaking love when that happens, and I'm always looking up like who plays and what, but then I can't remember their names later on in my life, so it just doesn't really matter. I actually like the 80s version better, and I'm not even an 80s movie girl, to be honest with you. I usually like the remakes sometimes. We all know Nightmare on Elm Street was a disaster, but like the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, freaking love. I mean, I love the original too. The original of its time is like insane. Like I couldn't imagine how crazy and awesome that movie was. Like it's still awesome, but like how crazy and awesome that movie was at the time, because it's just like sick, and I freaking love it. I've really come to like love Texas Chainsaw Massacre more than ever in my life. I think I've always enjoyed it, but every like Halloween and Scream and Freddy and Jason, all these other people just get so much more hype, and Leatherface is really looked over, and I don't know why, because he is like really his own monster. He is based on like an actual like crazy person, and it's just so freaking good. But then also I think it's also why I love like House of Thousand Corpses, because Rob Zombie took some inspiration from like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then I love that like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like movies, like every movie is just like its own freaking thing. Like 1 and 2 are completely different. The remake is really good. I think it follows more so like the original, kind of, where it's more of like the scare factor, the creepy. Like that movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, or probably teenagers when I watched it. And when I was a kid, I thought he was like real, and for some reason I thought he lived in like this house in Ohio. I didn't realize it was in Texas, like as a kid. And like obviously whenever I would talk about it, like people in my life would also be like, yeah, like he lives, yeah, he's just down there, because like it's, I don't know, apparently it's funny to scare kids. And so he's always just kind of been like this lore in my life, honestly. So I don't know why I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it beforehand. I don't know. Maybe none of that matters and you don't care. But anyway, I don't know. I think mainly too, I really got into Saw, and then I just kind of would obsess over like the Saw franchise. And I just kind of watched like, I don't know, just anything that was kind of free. I watched anything that was on like Sci-Fi and Chiller and things like that. So I've seen like a lot of random early 2000s stuff, which I think is why I love it so much. Like Rest Stop and Joyride and Amusement, Scream movies. Well, Scream movies freaked me out. I actually couldn't watch those till like recently. A lot of remakes, things like that. Like just whatever was like, here, watch this. I'm like, alright, cool. Wow, I'm very off track. I don't know what I was talking about. But yeah, basically FireStarter. Don't like it, not my favorite. I won't watch either of them ever again. The 80s is way better than the new one. I don't hold any of this against the actors. They did a great job. It all had to do with the kind of timing, and I don't know what the words are. I review movies. No idea how to do it. I'm just here talking to you. I'm your friend and I'm telling you how I feel about a movie. Wasn't great. I would not spend money on it. If you really, really want to see it, I would spend money on Peacock because they have other things to offer. This is not sponsored, but at least you can watch other movies that they offer for that $6, and it's not like you're wasting $1, but I would not see this in theaters, in my opinion. Now, if you're a huge Firestarter fan and you're like, I have to go see this in theaters, go for it, live your best life. No one's gonna judge you. I'm not judging you. Someone might, but I'm not gonna judge you. But I wouldn't spend money on it. That's just my 2 cents. That is all I have for Starter Fire? The heck am I talking about? Firestarter. Firestarter 2022, comparing to the original, my thoughts, how I feel. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments because you know I want to know, and keep the conversation going. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay spooky.